Welcome everybody to Sonic is Literally Unplayable. Here on Himsl Games we play the games that are unplayable. So I heard that Donkey faced some backlash after dunking on Sonic Frontiers.
I'm stuck. I tripped on a stair, I'm dead now.
Wow. If a Sonic is so toxic that they can't even handle an honest review, then they're ripe for some spanking. So let me play this piece of shit game so I can tell you why it is literally unplayable. Normally I would play a game for 20 plus hours before making one of these videos, but it doesn't require deep analysis for me to tell you that this here is undoubtedly one of the worst gaming experiences I have ever witnessed. Where to even begin? Well, one thing will pop right out at you. That's right, the pop-in. How is it possible that this game costs $60? Fixing this would literally be one line of code. These are just floating boxes. They can't be too render intense. Just leave them on. They don't need to pop in. It's literally unacceptable. How can you guys review this shit positively if they can't even handle fucking boxes being visible at decent ranges? I haven't seen this level of pop-in since the DOS days. Is this inverse Sonic? Is he taking us really fast back to the past? This shit is driving me insane. Oh, okay, so this is probably the worst thing about the game, alright? Like, it's such an easy thing to fix, and it just makes the game so bad, seeing these things pop in all the time. But there's plenty more to complain, so let's get going. Look at these general janky movements. Let's zoom in real close to that Sonic and look at his animations. I hate everything about it. He moves so badly, his animations change too abruptly. His legs move fast, but they aren't blurred enough, so it just looks like a really uncomfortable effect. Honestly, if you look at these legs in the 2D Sonic games, they look way better. His legs look like a red loop. If you look at the Sonic Frontiers legs, they look like a shitty wide smudge that's pulsating closer and further away from the camera. When he turns left and right, he doesn't leave into the curve, and he rotates his entire model really fast, which is so lazy. Normally, a game character will lean into the curves like a motorcycle would. It's very natural, and humans do it to avoid falling over when taking a turn. The faster you go, the more leaning will be necessary to resist the centrifugal forces. Look at how Mario leans into the curves. Okay, Mario is very silly. You don't want to do it as much as he does. Since Sonic is clearly trying to be so very cool, he's probably gonna lean a bit less. But he is also going so very fast that I would like to see him lean into the curves at least a little bit. Now tragically, 3D Sonics never had leaning. Even in the movies, you don't see Sonic leaning into the curves. To me that is trash. He moves unnaturally. The only reason not to lean into curves is if he has literally no mass. That's what I call a floaty character. Yuck! Okay, whatever. Not leaning is an artistic choice. A very shitty artistic choice. But what about the arms and the head? Normally you turn your head first, wherever you want to go, and your arms would take the longest to adjust to the new rotation, since they aren't connected to the ground. Sonic has absolutely no polish when going in a curve. Look, he is dragging his arms behind him, which makes sense, but then he turns his entire body and his arms instantly snap behind him instead of naturally being dragged there slowly. The animations try their best to make it look fluid, but they aren't backed up with any physics and they just look lazy and awful because of it. If you slow down the footage a lot and look very closely at his hands as he takes turns, you can see how stiff and lazy his implementation is. Now what you want to do here is comparable to a scarf. Imagine the arms being scarves he pulls behind him. Obviously you want them to be a lot stiffer than a scarf, but the principle is the same. You would want to make it so that it's 20% scarf and 80% how it is now, and it would look so much better having his little arms acknowledge the curve that he is going in. If you look even more closely, you can see that not even his stupid, filthy head spikes sway in the curve, which is incredible considering that if you just do a little jumping animation, it's clear that they aren't meant to be stiff. Now, of course, Sonic has many different ways of moving, and I'm sure they're mostly mediocre, okay? But this basic one, which is just running with the sprint on, looks really lazy to me. Also, he accelerates way too fast. In the original Sonic games, he took like half a second to speed up, and he felt like he had momentum. In the 3D Sonics, he can apparently change his direction immediately without losing any speed, while in the original you'd have to slow down all the way and then speed back up in the other direction, which made him feel much better. I think it would be better if you're not sprinting, then you would lose a lot of speed when going around corners. Look how shitty he turns into a ball. He jumps up and then turns upside down, then stops and then turns into a ball instantly. Wow, such a lack of polish. Ugh! The ball is meant to indicate that he is spinning fast. So why does he spin, then stop spinning, then turn into a ball? It doesn't make any sense. You may think that I'm nitpicking here, but you would be dead wrong. These little touches are incredibly important to the game feels. You think you aren't noticing how sloppy he turns into a ball? Well, I did, and then I looked at the footage in slow-mo, and now I know why. The movement in this game is so carelessly slapped together, it's a real shame about all the art that went into it. But the glue holding it together is just spit, and it's coming apart at the seams. If you talk to people who play Sonic Frontiers, they'll surely tell you that Sonic is slidey and janky. And now I've broken it down to you how much they messed up with the very basic stuff that goes into running and jumping. What am I doing? Sonic fans are so stupid, they probably don't care about polish and quality game design, they just want the blue rat to go really fast. Well, I don't accept it. Your game sucks and you play games wrong. Someone has to take a stand and rub your face in how janky all this stuff is. Also, you probably don't even care about this, but the mouse controls are unacceptable. Oh, by the way, you console peasants out there telling me that I shouldn't be using the mouse, shut the fuck up, eat shit, I don't give a shit, okay? If you think using a gamepad is that much better, good for you. I don't need that easy mode, okay? I play like a real gamer with mouse and keyboard like God intended. Anyways, as I was saying before you rudely interrupted me telling me to use a gamepad, the camera locks at annoying times. The camera rotation is not based on how fast the mouse moves. So if you move the mouse a little bit, or if you try to pull it all the way around, it'll still move at the same annoying, slow, directional movement. It'll still only turn really slowly, which drives me absolutely insane. I'm at a breaking point. I'm unwilling to play more of this horrible game. So let's find out what other people think of it.
It was only when I took a look at more footage when I realised Sonic was seemingly stuck to the ground. I mean, if you have a fast-moving object that speeds off a steep incline, you expect the speeding object to get at least a little bit of air. But no.
Wow, that's trash on a trash farm, trash game. See, I couldn't put my finger on it easily, but something just felt so wrong about everything, and now we know why.
Objects separate from the terrain, such as platforms, boxes, and rails all allow the player to boost and get insane amounts of height. This turned into my favourite mode of transportation in the game. It really harkened back to the fun I had with Sonic Adventure.
Holy prolapsing anus! That is incredible gameplay inconsistency. Why would you be able to do that off a box, but not off a rock or a dune? This video talks about how he is enjoying playing the game by exploiting this inconsistency. He 100%ed it. By the way, feel free to subscribe to him. He's only got 300 subscribers and he deserves more. Well, too bad. That doesn't count. If you're having fun despite the game design and not because of it, that's a bad game design. Sounds unplayable to me. By the way, there is a mod called Sonic Frontiers with momentum, and that looks a lot better. I'm not gonna play it, but it's just bizarre that this exists. Nobody is going to need to install a mod that makes Mario's movement feel good. Man, this is a $60 game, baby! And obviously a mod is still gonna feel a lot worse than if they had made the game the right way in the first place. Also, I basically never bother with mods, but it's interesting to see this. Like, a lot of people apparently had issues with this bullshit. Anyways, let's go back to the footage that I recorded in the 2 hours that I played the game. Oh god, so many bad memories in just 2 hours. I've talked about the movement, but believe it or not, that's the better part of the game. The combat is somehow even more boring and horrible. Who would want to stop running around to fight some dumb, generic-looking robot guys? And these robots are so bad. Why are they all black with red lights? That's some of the least interesting robot design ever. No gears, no cables, no fans, just like gamer computers come to life. And now it's all open world, so you'll be seeing those same enemies a lot. I saw that stupid one called Tower twice in the short time that I was playing the game. Wow, you're really proud of that dildo, huh? Totally worth repeating that fight. Best game ever. But the worst fight by far that I've been in is this larger robot boss with 3 arms. He slaps them down and then you can run up the arms. But when you're running up the arms, it's literally the worst movement controls that I have ever experienced. You never know when you'll be falling off or when you lose all momentum because the colliders were rough, and then he shoots these red and blue circles, and why aren't they spheres? They look so lazy, they're just a stupid sprite that doesn't rotate. They'd work just fine if they were spheres, and then you could actually tell if you're gonna hit them or not. I cannot fathom anyone enjoying the climb up this glitchy piece of shit. Seems like I'm doing Eggman a favor by scrapping this piece of junk.
Hey! Screw you, Sonic! Hey!
My final complaint is about side quests on the map. They are boring as fuck. Most of them are just run to this place and there's nothing stopping you. And then there's some puzzles which are too easy, but the actual problem is that you play as Sonic, which has shit controls, so solving precise puzzles while playing the fastest rodent in the world is not convenient. This is probably the worst game of the year. Sonic already sucked, but then you made it open world, so now there is way too much content and it's all really low quality. Open world games are really starting to piss me off. I wonder if these little quests will ever get less terrible later in the game. But if so, why would they include all the mind-numbingly stupid ones at the start? The best part of the game was clearly the cyberspace missions, where you run through a linear, well-crafted racetrack, and they're always beautiful and sunny. Wow, sure is a stupid idea to have a really moody weather in a Sonic game. The original Sonic looks better with its green hill zone than this stupid rainy hill frontier. What is this? Weather effects? What for? It's funny how good these running missions in the cyberspace are, but if you add them all up, they're probably only an hour of gameplay. So they had to shit out an open world to waste your time in between the good missions. The very, very few good missions. It's just so funny that back in the day Sonic might have been a competition for Mario. But now Mario games have kept up in the quality that they always had, while Sonic has just gone from one mediocre game to another.
Not cool, Sonic.
And now it looked like Sonic was finally going to make a comeback, with the Sonic movie 2 having been a cinema masterpiece. But it was all for nothing, because we have these games that have AAA budgets, but they play literally worse than the indie games. And the story is really stupid too. God, the movie was so good and charming, and here I see what the character was based on all along. Pathetic. I should say that this is my first Sonic game, and I only played it for 2 hours before deciding that I hated it. Well, I decided it like 10 minutes in, but then I kept playing anyway, so I gave it a lot of chances, like 2 whole hours of chances. I'm sure that Sonic has a long history of middling successes and outright failures. Well, this one is the first chance it had to impress me, and he failed miserably at that. Oh well, maybe one day they'll make an actually good Sonic game, and I'll wait a year for it to go on sale and actually enjoy it. But don't discount my opinion. Just because I'm not a Sonic fan doesn't mean I don't have an opinion, okay? I'm not a Nintendo fan either, but I can see that Mario games are miles above any of these horrible Sonic games. I am more likely to give Super Lucky's Tale another try, or maybe Mail Mole. Anything will do better than Sonic Frontiers. I'm not even sure that Suzy Cube or Bubsy are worse than Sonic. The original Sonic was even outclassed by Chaz Jackrabbit instantly. Sonic games were never good. After making 20 years of games, you'd think the developers would have improved. But no! If Chaz had gotten a few more sequels, it could have rivaled Mario. Sonic doesn't deserve the place he has in popular culture. He never did anything worthwhile, except for the movies with Jim Carrey in it, obviously. I'm so glad they didn't use the voice actor from the games. Game Sonic is a piece of shit. Fight me, Sonic games. Sonic fans have gone too far. You guys attack Donkey over this piece of junk? It's enough. You're grounded for 1 week. No more Sonic games, no more Sonic media, no more Sonic music, no more Sonic discussions for 1 whole week. YouTube removed the dislike button, so you have no recourse. Get egged. You can't escape being grounded. Hey, here's another piece of awful polish. Look how he's collecting these rings. First he hits the ring, then the ring gets knocked forward, then the ring goes towards Sonic, but there's a few frames where the ring goes past Sonic and then disappears. Wow, this is just so bad. Oh my god. Like, when I saw this happening, I didn't even know. Like, what is a ring that's coming towards me? What is a ring I've already collected? What is a fucking Sonic? Let's look at it in real time. So sloppy, oh my god. Maybe it's bugged because you usually don't see him on a curve from the side, but it just looks so stupid how these rings shoot forwards and then back into Sonic, but then past Sonic, and then Sonic glows, and that's how he collects the ring? Ah, Jesus, fuck. Oh, anyway, subscribe. It's Himsl Games, everyone. Check out Himsl Games for more unplayable videos where I rant about crazy games that I hate. And I'm not one of those stupid channels who make videos like, oh, the new Saints Row is bad. Oh, the GTA remake is bad. I don't care. I don't use cheap targets, okay? When I say a game is bad, it's an opinion worth hearing, okay? It's not a game where everyone will agree it's bad, because that would be a waste of my time. But I have an opinion, and I need to share it, and here it is. Sonic is literally unplayable. Delete Sonic. Keep the movies, though. Subscribe.
Hello everybody, I'm Hartsy Protsy, and I've been asked by my good friend Florian to do a little audio segment in this video where I talk about my feelings on Sonic Frontiers. I've been a Sonic fan my entire life, and being a Sonic fan for so long, I've experienced many ups and downs with this franchise. But I can confidently say that Sonic Frontiers is not only a good Sonic game, but is a good game, and that Florian is wrong about it. Now, I didn't watch all of Florian's video, because if he can review this game while playing less than 2% of it, then I can review his review while only watching half the video. One of Florian's biggest complaints was Sonic's movements and the controls and how they feel janky and weird and unnatural. And with no disrespect to him, because I do consider him a dear friend, I gotta say that this opinion is completely stupid and invalid, and I genuinely think that it comes from him just being bad at the game rather than the actual problem in the game itself. Florian has said in the past that he has never played a Sonic game in his entire life, and by extension that means that this game, Sonic Frontiers,
I already said this in this very video.
As a lifelong Sonic fan, I can confidently say that Sonic controls well in this game, and it's the best he's ever controlled in a 3D environment. I love how it feels to run around these huge open environments as Sonic. All this high-speed platforming, puzzle-solving exploration, and soaring through the skies while jumping off platforms is really, really fun to me. I could spend hours just playing around with Sonic's moveset. This game is not perfect, no Sonic game is, but the movement is not the problem. It really is fun and finely tuned. But where I do agree with Florian is the issue with the pop-in. The pop-in in this game is insanely bad, but that's due to the game's engine, the Hedgehog Engine 2, which was built for small bite-sized levels and not open-world design. And this is the first time Sonic Team has ever really dabbled in such projects. The engine was not made for this type of game, so I do wish they tweaked the engine or maybe even completely overhauled it for this game, because it really does not do this game service. And I will agree 100% with Florian that the pop-in is atrocious, and to me, it is the worst aspect about this game. But again, as a Sonic fan, there is just so much in this game to love. The characters are well written. The story, while not all there, is pretty cool and interesting. This new open world gameplay loop works really well with Sonic, and it's spliced together with the same old high action, high speed gameplay that we all know and love in the form of the cyberspace levels. The combat, while pretty basic, is nowhere near bad like Florian says. Because if Florian was to play longer into the game, he would have realized that as you play through the game, you unlock new abilities and moves that aid Sonic in his combat missions. These moves are super fun to pull off and watch, and this alongside the introduction of more varied enemies the longer into the game you get, makes combat more than serviceable in my opinion. Well, that's about all I have time to say. Thanks for hearing me out. And hopefully my screeching autism did not come off as too annoying.
I hope you guys don't think that this is an ableist depiction of a Sonic fan. Hart is actually very well respected in this community, whenever he's not being a stupid Sonic fan. Anyways, it's shocking to hear that this trash gameplay is the best a Sonic game has ever played. Wow. And the fact that you think me being bad at the game means that my opinion is useless sure makes you sound like a fucking idiot. Do you think I need to be good at Mario to enjoy that? One of my favorite games is Dark Souls, and I'm certainly not good at that. I didn't even say that Sonic Frontiers is hard. The game is just not fun in any conceivable way. Oh yeah, putting it into an open world sure is a letdown. Oh wow, sure wish Sonic would have always had the ability to pause his quest to play some really brain-dead puzzle games along the way. I gotta collect all of those stupid puzzle games. And don't forget about those challenges where you have to run from A to B really quick. God, such gameplay. Okay, so in Hartsy's footage, he certainly beat that boss easily, with all of his moves unlocked, and he had no trouble running up his limbs. Well, lucky. It wasn't tutorialized on how to do that, okay? It doesn't work like the climbable walls that were tutorialized earlier, so that boss just doesn't make any sense for new players. I did beat it, by the way, and then it glitched out and killed me from beyond the grave. So nice job. What? No, no, no! Yes! Oh, click it a bunch. Click it a bunch. No, no! Click it one more time. Okay, I guess I can climb here. Please? I love how his normal climb is just so slow that it's almost non-existent.
Do you know what it seems like? It seems like Breath of the Wild mixed with Mario, but with like
what?
The way
Did you see that? I fucking hit it in its weak spot, then it zoomed out, and then I fucking died off screen? What?
Yeah.
I was gonna go deeper here and analyze how Sonic's movement just looks janky even when a pro plays it, and zoom in on that Sonic, and I was going to put Mario Odyssey and Sonic Frontiers side by side and compare how interesting the new challenges that get introduced are. But why bother? I'm sick, and you love your stupid game because you're uncritically a fan of this franchise, and I can't take that away from you as much as I try to. I don't know if you've played Mario games or not, and if you've tried to make the comparison, but there are so many games out there that are just great platformers. It's going really fast, really worth all the downsides that comes with being a Sonic fan. Like, look how bad these games are. Even the best parts of the games, the cyberspace levels, are just ripped from earlier games. You should be annoyed by that. But whatever, I haven't played those old games, and you apparently don't mind originality, so I guess the cyberspace levels are protected. Well, I just hope that the success from Sonic Frontiers ends up resulting in better Sonic games in the future, and I hope that they didn't notice how low the bar for Sonic games is and just shit another one out just like it and make another $1 million. Maybe other platformers can look at Sonic Frontiers and say, oh, maybe we should also emphasize being fast, and then the one selling point from Sonic will no longer be unique, and that would be great, you know? More fast platformers, sure, why not? Anyways, subscribe or whatever. And don't ever believe anyone who tells you the game is good and you're just not good at it. No, it isn't! Even in Dark Souls, whenever someone tells you to get good, they are just making excuses for how lazy some of the features are in Dark Souls. And that's an actually good game. This game is just bad, and it's not worth getting good at it. So, get good at subscribing, I guess, at least. And check out Heartsy, I guess. Oh wait, he doesn't even bother making videos. Do what you want.
Chili dogs.